Oh, hi there to the next dev update here, or more dev diary. This actually was the first world I uploaded into VR. Yes, it was nothing more than that, and that was the base from which I was expanding. Let's get back into what we saw last time. Yeah, times are always so difficult. The boiler. It wasn't the only thing. On 061. Funny thing was the see how I just got a, what is the word in English? Help me. In Germany we say Querschnitt. Yeah. When you just cut a slice through the world. Yeah, definitely got many things in here. Oh gosh, the occlusion culling. Yeah, I would like to kill that stuff again and just to have things automatically not loaded when you're not in the room, for example, and can't see the stuff. Also, like to take a few rooms as one unity, and in that unity you see all the stuff, but when you exit this area into a new area, that then the old stuff will be unloaded, the new stuff loaded. I mean, you could do it with the black blend. That is not very 2024, but it's still a hobby project. And my problem with the occlusion culling in Unity is that sometimes things disappears in front of you and are not rendered even if they should be. This is definitely something that, especially in this world here in Demonhour, happened quite often. I often changed the stuff, redid the occlusion culling informations, but yeah, definitely a struggle since I do. The lights, so that sometimes retimes are killed when you bake lights, and another struggle. The more you do, the more you struggle, and not all the time you find solutions for that. Sometimes you just walk and work around. Occlusion culling. Gosh heck. I did more and more of these little nodes here and there to bring in stuff. I made baseboards and upper boards to all of the rooms, and I made the couches dusty when you jump on their poof, and brought in more and more of these little things, made everything Christmassy, and after Christmas I killed all the stuff again. On the roof I made a fence over which you can also jump to get down. Later I made the fence bigger, so you cannot jump from the roof anymore. An attempt to, in future, separate the mansion more and have zones that are loaded or unloaded. I brought in more things from Granny's house. And I made zones, for example, in the cellars that restrict players that are caught so that they can't just respawn or make any other fancy stuff to bug themselves out, like grab through a wall when there is a chair and just sit on the chair then, and then you're free. Nope. It's always a game between the developer of a map and the players. The players always try to break your stuff to their entertainment, and you have to try to make it so good that they can't. But it's funny. Here you see little things I brought into the map, little decorational things, that I roughly rebuilt in Blender and put textures on again. I made fog for the cooling chamber. I brought in water for the in the pool and made a box in which I made a depth shader So when you're getting under the water, then the vision gets darker and more bluish and stuff like that. You can do that with the post-processing volume. It should be not global, and the box is a trigger. That means when you're in, then the post-processing volume there works. But when you use something like that, a post-processing volume, you also need a post-processing layer on your camera that aims for a specific layer in which that volume also need to be set to. So definitely little things. Yeah, one is definitely a common error. Why is my post-processing not working? Well, maybe because it's on the wrong layer. And you also can animate those post-processing volumes to blend or to make something like a transition from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. Then you have to do it with an animator. Yeah, and animators can also be bools in the animator that kind of controls the animator can be set via nodes. Yeah, everything is connected to everything, definitely. In general, I brought in post-processing to have fancier effects. Aces, for example, works very well to get a filmic look. Here you see a new staircase, so you don't just fall into the pool. So I made another staircase just for that basement. And you see to the right how fancy it looks, yeah? How fancy the light can look. But also another thing that bugs me, lighting in Unity looks always different than you see it later in VR. Because the VR software works a bit different than the desktop version, the non-stereoscopic camera works. And also, Unity is janky, VRChat is janky, and when these two interchange stuff, it's janky squared. So, yeah, you never really know how the stuff looks. To the left, you see then the usual light map magic we already said, saw multiple times. Then we have filmic tone mapping with the PostFX, the aces, like I said, in the middle, so everything gets a way more contrast and shadowy feeling. And to the right, we see when you look to the light sources, that light blooms. That stuff is indeed more have a more glowing appeal. But don't overdo it, otherwise it looks like a dream world. Yeah, the materials now got emission when they emit light. And more stuff was brought into the mansion. Here you see a shelf and a chest and a lamp built for the mansion. And all the little tweaks and changes and trying to kill bugs and glitches. And the bigger the whole project gets, the more systems are kind of intertwined with each other, the more stuff you have to tweak. Here you see the birth chair of my granny that I also remade in Blender and brought in. And filled the shelves. Here you see the birth chest and chair of Granny. And tweaked the pool again and also the sewers to have different water materials that also, when you jump in, make splashy sounds. In general, added here and there more sounds. And, I mean, we all like Phasmophobia. Around that time, in the Corona crisis, as I also got more into VR, I liked to play Phasmophobia. And it's so cool. You know these EMF devices? Yeah, so I also bought one in real life, made pictures of it, and rebuilt it in Blender. Yeah, I separated it in Blender, the materials, to make these little lamps glossy and glowy, and change the materials when a spook is close by. Trigger boxes will make the EMF to beep and to glow. So you can see where stuff happens in the engine. But it's just a nice little feature, not something that you really need. It just can help you. And I made also a lamp. Not just a normal lamp, but also a UV lamp. As you can see, that also, when on, changes the material of the lens with a glowing material and has a beam that is a spotlight. But to this point, you can't find any touches of ghosts or something like that. But yes, in future, when this is not a 0 dot version, but a 1 dot, definitely possible that these things get more importance. To that point, I just thought, oh, I like Phasmophobia, I bring that stuff in. Then I copied out the hallway of the upper floor and twisted it for a scene in which I thought, that may be cool. Here, monsters, because monsters are spoopy. Yeah. Made the teeth out of the same material as the porcelain. And the skin rock-like. The maw, of course, flesh-like. I also had I made a flesh room later. That the flesh-like hellish appearance. So it is fine to use stuff that you can reuse at some point. Yeah. Also, the red door from the Insidious movies. Well, before the Insidious movies brought out the film that was called Insidious The Red Door, before that, I brought in this red door here in my Demonhour map, yeah? I guess that I just like James Wan so much that we more and more get same ideas here. Creating the EMF and other things in nodes still a pain because it has to react to stuff in the world. Here, I worked on the event with the demon dragon thingy in the end kinda eat you. And I also tried to bring in a werewolf, but it was a mess. It was a free werewolf model and it was totally a mess, so I dropped it. Demonhour was my first try to do any 3D map content, using the VRChat community. Like the Roblox community is also just an own community, just to create stuff, to entertain others, to express myself, and to set a memorial of the house of Granny. It is renovated now and other people live there. The third time now, because it is all 10 years ago since Granny passed. So this is also kind of a memorial of the life in Granny's house, just with a little bit more spoop, as you can see. But this twisted hallway effect, definitely. I love it. Yeah, here's the light problem again. You see to the left how the light could look, and then to the right you see it in Unity, in VR. So to the left you see, ooh, fancy, and to the right, all retime light is dead. You have just the smooth lighting of the baked light, and I just like, why? I tried to have a higher per pixel light count. I tried to allow more light sources. I definitely need to work with more separations to put stuff on different scenes that are connected in an overall game scene that connects everything with each other. Because having all on one map, then stuff will just Unity will think, too many of them. We just don't show light sources here and there. Yeah. Always a struggle. And then my computer crashed. The project crashed. I got a virus and everything was gone. A friend helped me then to restore everything. Yeah. To get data back. And then that was the outcome. Everything was wrong. There were wrong files. I had to reset through files I found somewhere here and there. The light maps were dead. I need to rebake everything, definitely. And everything was kinda a bit wrong. I thought that was it. And for weeks in 2023, I just worked on, rebuilding the project. And I learned that having a backup of your important projects is something that is super important, because it was nearly not possible to rescue the project just with the very hard work of a few friends that are way deeper into computer science and informatics than I am. Just because of their help, it all was saved. Yeah, so the next update was just to bring out with a few bug fixes the same project again. Just because the data was gone and I needed to bring everything back with the rescued data. So it was the same project with a few little differences, because not everything was possible to bring over, but nearly. And to the right you see a sketch of the event with the dragon at the end. And here, yeah, the moon was too close, so I made the moon more blended into the clouds there, so that the moon looked weird. And to the right you see that the moon looks better now. And then I made a little family museum here out of the dance room, kinda. And I brought in more switches on the walls with which you can switch on and off, for example, colliders. And then you see that the next version of Fire was a way better one, with a shader solution and not with a sprite solution. So this is the Fire I still use until today, because that is a state from which I would say that is enough. You have smoke with particles still, but the Fire itself is now made of a shader on planes that are just inside each other. And this is definitely something from which I can say, that's enough. It's enough for my map, you know? You can still work on stuff and enhance and enhance and enhance. But at some point you have to say, that's enough. Let's move to another topic, because I have to finish at some point. And here I made more volumes that you see that the whole node system changed a bit. Color-wise you can see it. So when the player enters, then it plays splashes, and when exits, different splashes on the same audio source. Then the shadows here and there were weird. Some meshes were a bit just not smooth enough. So I had to tweak here and there. I needed to change the fires everywhere. I brought in a spooky figurine under sheets and tried to make the shadows of the lamps better again, as you can see. And as you can see, when you really think about it, it's just one source from which the shadows are made. Yeah, because you don't want to have 6 light sources there for every little thing. You just use one light source, you know. It has to be performant on runtime. And I changed the fog a bit to be more foggy and more translucent and not as bad as my first version was. Tweaked audio of all the audio zones. And we hit version 0.7. I made that the EMF noodle soup is now working to that point. Then it was not just possibly working, but it worked since then. I brought in a fridge, which you can enter to get in a maze that I still haven't finished to this day. But it is an area that from which you get an item you will need later. Put it some stuff in the basement. Here you can see the fire of version 0.1 to the left, where it was just particle rain that changed color over lifetime. Version 0.5 then got a fire made out of sprites that also wiggle and change color a bit, and the sprites also changing each other, going through different sprites. And with 0.7 the fire got a shader solution that is flickering and kind of animated and wiggling around, you know? So the fire got more and more realistic over time. And why a toaster? Well, Granny once burned a toaster. So I thought it is funny to bring that in. The maze you see to the upper left, I brought into the game. You can see the steps to the bottom. The maze is now, you can go in there. It is very confusing because you have not just a 2D labyrinth, no, it is a 3D labyrinth with also up and downs. This is totally confusing, but still I need to put more things into the labyrinth to actually have something to orient, so that you can, remember where you are, you know? And brought in more stories all over the mansion. Changed the light probes from time to time because I learned more and more how to use them properly and not just like some people use some text marks, just throw them wild over the text, comma here, comma there. Yeah. And I made I played Hogwarts Legacy, and I liked always how the the area where the wizards buy their stuff opened. So I made a door that works like that, animated to like whirl around bricks and open when you give the head back to the gargoyle statue. Then I also enhanced the attic, as I said in the beginning of our devlogs here. The attic was just roughly made. I just thought, I don't need to make that fancy. But the room you see here was the room I was actually sleeping during the last years as I lived in Granny's house. So I thought, let's redo that and put the starting area. It was for a long time. It was a starting area with the boards on the wall on which everything was printed to, and then I just shifted that away from there, but built the attic, and I just got a garage as a starting point. This is the new starting point since then, but in close future I will change that. Here you see that I brought the boards there into the garage and made it fancy. In the labyrinth, I added a spooky candle. That is an object you will need later. And I added more animations on and a spider that comes down, but also I implemented an arachnophobia mode that deactivates that spider and also deactivates all the cobwebs in the mansion for people that are not much into spider stuff. And remade stuff on the roof. Brought in a little vent. And here I used the player, like I said, in the cinema there, in the home cinema, so that you can actually play stuff. And these pencils are just commonly used, so I put them on there too. Made the whole player more sepia because that matches the overall tone of the map. And then I brought in landscape and cut out the mansion to have a landscape for grass outside. The problem? It doesn't work with occlusion culling. It is always culled. But in future I will kill the occlusion culling and make more the separation into different units that are on and off. And then I can bring back the terrain. No solution helped me to bring back the terrain. The terrain is just always gone when I use occlusion culling. I love Unity. And there you can see between the versions 0.8 and 0.82 changes in color and tone. Here you have to the left side a brown underexposed look inside, and to the right more naturalistic luminance. And yeah, also the outside, definitely a difference just between these subversions. To have more foliage, yeah, also wind and fog, distance fog, and yeah, MSVOAO shadow effects inside. This makes these deep shadows here in the corners and behind furniture and stuff, these realistic shadows. This is MSVAO is ambient occlusion, of course. MSVO. I guess it is multi-sample volumetric occludence, something like that. You don't need to know all the words. You just have to know what to do with it and what it is. But yeah, you see definitely a difference between the versions. And then I made windows for the upper floors. I remember. Yeah. Yep. Just cutting through. So much stuff. Yeah, I thought stuff while I did it. When you go outside, the first window, yeah, highlights the stairs down, so you see where you have to go. The second window you will see when you move to the right with your head, because I think that is the natural movement, will show to the light source you can pick, because back there was a light source at that point, what you can pick. And the third window shows you into the inner court, so it shows you, oh, the mansion is bigger, here's much to explore, you can look around. You have always to lead the player with something like that. So when bringing in windows through which you can look through, you should definitely think about, what do I want to show to the people? Yeah, as you can see here, I lowered the overall luminance and reflection strength, because I just thought it is prettier, matches more. And yeah, made this global fog here now. And I just learned, like I wrote here, in post-processing layer on main camera, Stafford fog to activate to use it, then lighting settings, linear fog does it for me. Yeah, you need a different camera to use this fog. And with this fog, we will close it for today, I would say. The mansion at that point already looked kind of fancy, didn't it? But what else changed in future? I would say much. We will discuss that if you want. In the next devlog. So, thankies for lending me your ears and eyes. I give them back to you now. Thankies and bye.